Get ready. Helena Hustle is now live. Here, we will showcase successful leaders in business, athletics, healthcare, and all things that make Helena a great place to live. Join Dr. Daniel Bridge, owner of Endurance Chiropractic, as he searches out amazing individuals who are making a tremendous difference in this place we call home. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired with the Helena Hustle podcast.
Tyler, thank you for joining me today. How's everything going?
Going good. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
So I'm here with Tyler Jarvis of High Country Lighting. High Country Lighting?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. But before we do that, let's start with my favorite game, Two Truths and a Lie. What you got for me?
All right, let's see. Not much for this game, but let's see. I once snuck across the border into Mexico. I've never broken a bone. And I've had to kill a bear in self-defense.
Okay. This is just knowing you. I gotta say that you've never broken a bone's a lie.
All right, yeah, that's a lie.
You've maybe broken less than like 20 bones or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. No, not that many, surprisingly. Actually, that's a bit of a funny story. I've had a lot of different injuries and stuff, but I've only broken a couple bones, and I broke the one in my hand playing football, but it wasn't even in a game. It was during the warm-ups. We were doing bear crawls in the warm-ups, and I broke my hand doing bear crawls. So but that was a lie. So
wow. So Tyler's from Raymond, Alberta, southern Alberta, which is where my dad grew up, and my cousin is one of Tyler's good buddies growing up. So that's how we met. Do you want to share about the other two truths? I'm dying to hear them.
Well, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on certain things, but no, sure. I
want to hear both. Let's start with Mexico.
Well, I was just, so I've been, I'm a businessman now, and I do a little bit of everything, but I started out as well in Alberta, Canada there, like you had mentioned, and my family's been in the outfitting business all my life, so I've been guiding hunts most of my life, and, that was what I started out in business, and just getting to know people that had money and ran businesses and stuff, and that was a huge start for me, being able to, from a young age, associate with those people. But
how old were you when your dad first started taking you on the...
Well, he's been doing it for over 25 years. I'm just about 29 now, and I've been doing it with him as long as I can remember. Whether I was just riding in the truck with him or actually, assisting in the guiding, I've been doing it my entire life, and I only say that to illustrate the point that, it was a huge benefit for me in my life as far as business goes, just because I got to associate with some people that are running huge multi-million-dollar companies from a very young age and see what their mentality and mindset is. But to get back to your point of your question or your story there, that's led me all over North America, just doing different hunting things and having different opportunities like that. And I was hunting aoudad, or like Barbary sheep, down in West Texas on the border.
What was the first thing you called it?
Aoudad.
Aoudad, okay.
Yeah, aoudad or Barbary sheep.
What's that like?
Same thing. They're a type of mountain sheep that comes, I think, originally from Pakistan and some of those mountains in the Middle East, and they just have done extremely well in places like New Mexico and West Texas, really barren, arid desert mountains. And so
like, do people bring them here to breed them, and then all of a sudden they just they're self-sufficient? Can be hunted?
They brought them here years ago, just because they thought maybe they would do well, and they just took off, and they've taken over some of those areas in a lot of cases. And one of the guys that was there with us, he was an old Mexican fellow, and he'd been living there his entire life. On the other side of the border, and he said before they had mule deer, but once the aoudad came, they pushed the mule deer out in a lot of instances.
No
and
kidding.
Now
okay.
They're there. But anyways, I was down there hunting those, and we were on a beautiful ranch, just in the middle of nowhere, and it's one of the most surprisingly remote places that I've ever been. No power lines, no roads, no light pollution, nothing. Anyways, we spent the whole time hiking hunting on the Rio Grande River, and I saw an old Indian campsite on the other side of the Rio Grande, and I just wanted to go see if I could find some arrowheads over there. And it was only a foot or two deep, so I just walked right across.
Okay, easy as that.
Started looking for arrowheads, but
any luck?
No, I didn't find any arrowheads there, but I did find some in another place.
You found arrowheads before?
Yeah.
Cool. I'd love to do that sometime.
Yeah, it's awesome. So.
Awesome. And let's hear about this bear.
Oh, that's just, honestly, I've had to, shoot a couple of them, whether they've been coming into different camps or actually, wounded ones that have ended up coming at us, and a couple of different things. So yeah, I've actually shot a couple that way. I won't get too much into it because,
sure.
Yeah.
Do people like get more detective-y about it here or in Canada?
Oh, just with, I know it is a big issue here now and it's you don't want to talk too much about it one way or the other, because it is like a sensitive subject for people as far as bears go. And I love bears. I've been around bears my entire life, and I think they're an awesome animal that needs to be out in nature, and we should be able to interact with them in some ways. But yes, as far as here in Montana, there's getting to be more and more attacks. You hear about it every year. Somebody's getting attacked, somebody's getting killed, and I think last year in Alberta, a couple, one girl sadly got killed by a black bear.
Oh, dang. A black bear, wow.
Yeah, she was actually planting trees, a tree planter, and it got her. And then there was definitely a couple grizzly attacks. I don't know if any were fatal, but I wouldn't say either one is necessarily more detective-y. I just think...
Great word, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just think either you're defending your life and property or you're not, and so it's pretty cut and dry. If you're in the right, you're in the right.
Yeah, okay.
And if you're being threatened, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Exactly.
So.
Right. Cool. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I mean, I've told you a lot already, I think, and so that's kind of the starting part of my life, and that still has a huge part in my life. But basically, after guiding for a while, I went and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I went and served a 2-year mission for that church in Cleveland, Ohio. So I served, a mission in Cleveland, Ohio for 2 years, and that's actually where I met my wife, Erica. No, I didn't really get to know her at all while we were out there. I just kind of met her in passing, and so when I got home, I went back to guiding, and I was guiding that fall, and I reached out to her, and we started communicating back and forth. Long story short, I ended up down in Utah, and we started dating, got married, and then I was stuck in Utah for a while. So she was a collegiate athlete. She ran track and field for BYU. I know you're a track and field guy. You also ran for BYU.
Not at her level.
Yeah, but you ran.
BYU Hawaii, yeah.
Hawaii,
a little easier there, but yeah.
Hey, but still, it's no joke. I've seen what those guys, the work that track athletes have to put in, and it's
year-round, a lot of work.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But Erica finished 4th at nationals.
I think it was something like that. Yeah,
it's crazy high. So I want to get her on the podcast at some point, because she's got an awesome story.
Yeah, she'd come on, I'm sure. But yeah, very high nationally. I don't know, I think 7 or 8 time All-American.
Wow.
In multiple different events, and one of the cool things was after she got her first American and All-American award and was really on the rise, we got pregnant with our first kid, Jack, our oldest boy, who's 5 now. But everybody kind of thought that was it for her running career at that point, and I won't tell the whole story in case she comes on, but anyway, she came back, and that led us to being there, and it also led me to be in a position there in Utah where I needed some freedom to be able to take care of Jack while she was traveling to run, but also make some money. And that was kind of the starting of High Country Lighting. It actually started as High Country Window Washing. Oh, okay. Believe it or not. And so I started a window washing company, and one thing led to another. But that was it. Now, so then after she finished running, I had gotten my business off the ground there. We wanted to move closer to my home in Alberta, but not across the border. for various reasons for the both of us. And so Montana was just the perfect fit for us. I spent a lot of my life doing things in Montana, and I've always loved it. So we came up here, and then that's basically where we had, we had our daughter, Indy, who's 2 years old now, in Utah. And then shortly after she was born, we moved here to Montana. And then we also have a 1-year-old, Liam. Yeah.
Awesome. So you said that, tell me about that confidence to start your business. And you had mentioned being around other successful people growing up who had been there, done that. How did that help you, and what was that like when you were first getting started?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it definitely helped me. Confidence-wise, I don't know. Starting a business is a really scary thing. I think you've got to have a little bit of confidence to start a business, because now you're not getting a paycheck. You're going out and hustling every day for your dinner, right?
Yeah.
And so it was that in a lot of ways, but I think just having, like I said, people around me, even my dad, who's a business owner, you kind of get to see that perspective that, you don't have the health care, you don't have the benefits, you don't have the steady paycheck, but you can have a lot of freedom, and you can dictate your own schedule to some degree, and you have the ability to make as much as you want or as little as you want based on your own, I guess, your own, what you do. And so that's something that I wanted, and it's something that I needed at that time. Like I said, the flexibility to be able to take care of Jack while Erica was traveling. And so I just went for it. It started small, and I think that's something, people think you have to have $500,000 in capital to start something, and maybe with definitely with certain businesses you have to have that much and more, but I think businesses are a compounding type of thing, and even a small business can lead to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Once you start learning to work for yourself, it's kind of addictive.
Yeah, reinvesting. Kind of what you were saying, when I started my business here, or before I did, I had always had a little bit of a safety net, and I wanted to move here, and that would have been no safety net. This was in 2021, January, so COVID was still going pretty strong. And I was having a conversation with one of my buddies. I can't remember if I've shared this before, but he called me Bridgie. He said, Bridgie, I said, well, what if I fail, blah, blah, blah. He said, you're not going to fail. He said, because you're betting on yourself. And that's the difference, is you can run all the numbers, and you can try to make your business plan look as shiny as you want for the bank. But at the end of the day, you know who you are, and you know that you're going to make do anything it takes to, make your dream become a reality. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that. You bet on yourself, and you can make things happen, and numbers are important. And I'm kind of at the point in my business where I'm trying to learn I'm reverse engineering my business. I kind of grew so quickly that I got a large volume of sales and all of that stuff down, and now I'm sort of going back and trying to work on being a little bit more careful about numbers and things like that. But to your point, I think that definitely numbers don't tell the whole story, and betting on yourself and just hustling and doing what you have to do is probably the first and most important thing that you have to worry about if you're thinking about starting a business.
Right. Yeah. So tell us about High Country Lighting. Yeah.
So High Country Lighting, like I said, I started this window washing company, and I was, going around knocking doors.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, knocking doors, getting window washing clients residentially, and that one thing led to another, and I was getting these commercial contracts on big, multi-story buildings and stores, and the window washing business was just really taking off, so I had to hire a couple guys to help me with that. And like I said, every day I was out hustling, and I had these guys on now, and things kind of slowed down in the fall for window washing. And I thought, well, I want to keep these guys busy. I can make a little bit extra money. We already got all the ladders. We got all this stuff. Let's start hanging some Christmas lights. So that's what we did. I reached out to a bunch of my customers that I was already washing their windows, and started hanging their Christmas lights, buying their Christmas lights, storing them, everything else and doing the whole thing.
Well, you've already got this base of people that know, like, and trust you.
Exactly.
If you can offer them an additional kind of complimentary service.
Exactly. And that's a huge part of networking too, especially in the home service industry specifically, is, everybody has a client list and these clients trust you. And so if there's somebody that you trust that you can, then say, hey, let me send an email out to my clients offering them this value and this product that you're offering. That's a huge networking opportunity, I think, in the business world. But that's what I did. I started hanging those traditional lights, but it was very early on, just about 5-6 years ago in Utah, and I started to see some of my competitors, these permanent lighting companies, popping up in Utah, and I thought, man, I'm putting these things up. And I got to rush for 2, 3, 4 weeks a month before Christmas to get all these up to, meet everybody's schedule, make everybody happy. I'm leaving them up for a month or 2 months, and then, everybody's blowing up my phone because we're trying to get out there and take all these lights down, get them stored properly, and get them off people's houses. And it's a giant pain. I see these permanent lights out there, and I'm thinking, man, this is way better, and it makes way more sense. People don't have to get on a schedule anymore. They don't have to risk getting themselves on a ladder, and I mean, yeah, getting hurt, needing a trip to the chiropractor. Actually,
you're cutting into my business, Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. And at that time, that's all I was thinking is, man, never to have to hang Christmas lights again. That's awesome. So I started doing some research into all the different permanent lighting companies that existed at that time, and there's quite a few now, but back then there was very few. And I found, after all my research, the absolute best manufacturer of these lights that I could come up with, and reached out to them to see if I could get an authorized dealership, and they're like, no, you don't got enough employees, you don't got enough revenue, so on and so forth. And I'm like, dang, that sucks. Well, I reach out to them again and again and again, and keep bugging, keep finding people to, another angle in the company, like, hey, put in a good word with this guy for me to, and finally they're like, all right, here you go, have it,
you wore us down.
Yeah, you wore us down, have an authorized dealership. So we took it, and that first year was great. Second year was absolutely amazing, and by the third year, we were the second largest manufacturer for them in the United States, or authorized dealer for that manufacturer in the United States.
In the U.S., wow.
Yeah, and so they, so we grew together, obviously, and that's been a great relationship with them. But to your point, what I didn't know at the time when I was thinking, wow, these would just be great so people don't have to hang Christmas lights, is it's actually an everyday lighting system. People do never have to get up there. They can be running a different Christmas light every night. So not only do they have to do traditional, but they can do crazy stuff in red, green, and white Pac-Man and all this stuff chasing around their house. That's so much fun. And people, the kids love changing them, seeing what's going to be on that night. Cool. But also Easter, 4th of July, St. Patrick's Day, birthday parties. You got a sports team that you like, you can put that on there. And so you can use it for all that stuff. And then obviously the accent and architectural lighting is beautiful. You can control each bulb and customize it to your home so that you can use it for accent lighting every day of the year on a timer that comes on at sunset, turns off at sunrise, and you don't have to touch it. So it's, I didn't know at that time that just switching out from Christmas lights that I was going to become an entire lighting guy, and that was going to, take over my business. But that's what happened, and it's been hugely successful, and people absolutely love it. And so
they do. Well, it looks so nice. I mean, I've seen them. You drive around, they're clean, and I mean, customizable. And yeah, I told you, I know our viewers can't see, but we've got these lights out here. Oh, yeah. It's on cement. My ladder was up there 20 feet, and I was, each time I'm like, this is going to be bad because I know I'm going to fall at some point.
Yep. Yeah. It's I can't overstate it. So your cousin Peter, who was one of my best friends growing up in our little town, we had a substitute teacher, and I mean, very sadly, he passed away working on a ladder.
Really? I
believe it was Christmas lights, but fell off a ladder, and that was it. So it really is no joke, and we take a lot of precautions to make sure our guys are safe. But it's definitely not something to take lightly, getting on the ladder.
Well, I had a friend, same thing, setting up Christmas lights, icy roof, slid off his roof, landed, and there was one of those narrow metal fence posts, and he just 5 inches away from it missed it.
Wow.
And I mean, it's,
That would have been bad.
not
Very
something I
bad.
want to deal with.
No.
So when we get a house, I'm definitely going to have you get them going. So what
Good.
areas do you cover?
So we cover Helena, the greater Helena area, the greater Bozeman area, and the greater Great Falls area.
Mhm.
So basically those 3 cities, and just, the nature of the beast. So I saw a funny meme the other day. It was about Alberta, but the same thing applies to Montana. And it said, why would we fly? It's only a 12-hour drive. and so just the nature of doing business in Montana and this type of home service business, we travel a lot farther than we would in a really compact, condensed city. So, pretty much anywhere in the kind of central Montana area, we'll cover it for the most part.
And you do residential and commercial?
Yes, sir. Yep. We've done I did one of your competitors here recently.
Oh, did you?
We shouldn't mention that though. Yep. Lots of residential, lots of new construction, all that. Yep.
Cool. Do you have like different bulb sizes, or is it standard?
It's all standard.
Size?
So early on we tried with different things. So it's actually, the lights go into a metal track. We match that track with whatever color the soffit and fascia on the house is, or the building, whatever. We match it, make it look really discreet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put an LED bulb in there that's at its brightest. It can do 97 lumens. So it's really bright if you want it to be. So it's not so much about the size of the bulb. It's more about the spacing. And so, we experimented at the start with 6-inch spacing, 12-inch spacing. And we just settled on 9, and that's all we offer anymore. It looks by far the best.
Oh.
And so we just go 9-inch spacing on the tracks, and yeah, it looks great.
And does it just tie in? Do you plug it in, or does it just hardwire in somewhere?
So it's all low voltage, and in order for us to keep that low voltage classification, has to plug in.
Okay.
So we have a power supply that kind of helps convert all of that power, and yeah, we just plug that in somewhere, and like I said, real discreet, drop the wires into the track, and then it runs from there without really seeing anything.
Cool. Yeah, it's a great service. Everybody needs to have it. I mean, I'm sure everybody will in the future, because
that's what I always say is, it may be 5 years, it may be 10 years or 15, but I think at some point every house will have these on them standard, whether it's our product or any product. I think just permanent lighting in general is going to start coming standard on homes just because of how convenient it is. So,
yeah, it's going to, and you probably save money over the long run, apart from the time that you have to spend to put them up, take them down, hope you don't get hurt. But then I swear every year I'm replacing bulbs and trying to go find new strings of lights.
And that's if you're doing it yourself. I mean,
Right.
if you're going to get up on the ladder and do it yourself, that's good for you. But I mean, especially if you're hiring somebody to come out like I was, hang the lights, take them down, store them for you, it only takes a couple years. These are definitely more expensive than traditional lights. But when you think about, Christmas lights alone, it only takes a couple years to pay that off. Now, when you think of the fact that you can use these lights every single day of the year instead of 2 months out of the year, pays itself off very quickly.
Yeah. Cool, Tyler. Okay, so just speaking business in general, if somebody was going to start a business as an entrepreneur, what piece of advice would you give them?
I think overall, do your research starting out. Obviously, do your research. Make sure that whatever you are selling is something that people want, people need. The market isn't already too saturated. Are you offering something different? Are you offering something better than your competitor? Are you solving a problem for your potential customer? And is there demand? So you've done that research. Once you've done that research, then put your head down and work. Like you said earlier, you can crunch all the numbers in the world, and you can sit there at your desk and go over numbers and go over Excel spreadsheets. And at the end of the day, that isn't, at least starting out as an entrepreneur, and now I'm learning as a business owner, that comes later. But starting out as an entrepreneur, if you want to be a hustler, forget about that desk, forget about the numbers, and get out there and work And number one is sell. You have no business if you're not making money. So if you're not selling, it doesn't matter if you've got the best technicians installing. It doesn't matter if you have the best processes. If you're saving pennies, you can't be saving pennies to make dollars when you could be making thousands of dollars just by getting more sales. Right. And so initially, having a big funnel and funneling in a lot of work. And then, from there, you're definitely going to later on have to figure out how to efficientize that, which is where I'm at. But I think, at first, put your head down, work, and get sales. So
good. You're getting me all pumped up. I got to go start another business.
Yeah. Well, yours is great, man.
Yeah. Thank you. So, okay. If somebody wants to get lights, how do they find you?
There's a couple ways they can find me. So, we're on social media, High Country Lighting. And as well, I have a website, highcountrylightingmt.com.
Okay.
So High Country Lighting Montana. So, and then, they can reach out to me and give me a call or anything else. My phone number for that is 406-551-7776.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's
awesome. If anybody's thinking about it, don't put it off. It's an investment that you'll have forever and something that you'll never regret. So, Tyler, thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, man. All right.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Helena Hustle Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for joining us. And we'll catch you in the next episode of the Helena Hustle Podcast.